This is the third video in the Beginner Robotics Virtual Summer Camp series. Today, we are going to be talking about the key component of an FLO robot, the EV3 Brick. The EV3 Brick is the main controller of an FLO robot. It is responsible for running the program. We are going to cover the EV3 buttons, motor ports, sensor ports, EV3 Mindstorm software download, Mindstorm software homepage navigation, what is the difference between the EV3 project and the EV3 program, EV3 Mindstorm's programming area navigation, EV3 software project properties, and then we're going to have a quick conclusion summary at the end. Now, let's go more into detail on the EV3. On the front of the EV3 Brick, there's 6 buttons. The first one, located in the top left corner in the area below the screen, is the back button. It primarily undoes actions, stops programs, and allows you to turn off the robot. The second one is the center button. It is the one located in the middle of the area below the screen, surrounded by 4 other buttons. It allows you to select the options of the EV3 Brick, run programs, and turn the robot on. Lastly, we have the up, down, left, and right buttons. These surround the center button and allow you to navigate menus on the EV3 Brick. Above the buttons, we have the screen of the EV3 Brick. There are 4 tabs on the screen. First, we have the Run Recent tab. This allows you to find and run programs that you have run recently. Next, we have the File Navigation tab. This allows you to find and run programs by project. Next, we have the Brick Apps tab. This has many apps, including one that shows what is connected to each port on the EV3 Brick, whether it's a motor or a sensor. Lastly, we have the Settings tab. This allows you to control various settings of the EV3 Brick, including Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and volume. Now, let's go into ports, sensors, and motors. If you're looking at the EV3 Brick with a screen on the top part, the ports on the top will be labeled A, B, C, or D. These ports are for motors, which will allow your robot to move. There are 2 types of motors, large motors and medium motors. Large motors are better for slower, torque-heavy applications. More torque means that the motor has more power. These motors are typically used for driving the robot due to their design and the ability to align the rotations with other motors so that it can be used to rotate wheels. The medium motor has less torque than the large motor, but it can also rotate much faster and has a smaller profile. It can reach full rotations faster than a large motor and is typically used for mechanisms that flip out and touch parts of the field to complete missions. The ports on the bottom will be labeled 1, 2, 3, or 4. These ports are for sensors. There are 4 different kinds of sensors: touch, ultrasonic, light, and gyroscope. The touch sensor detects when the front part of the sensor, the red part, is pressed. It can be used in a variety of ways. For instance, to detect when you are nearing a wall so that you can turn away, or be able to detect when you've reached a mission on the field to be able to tell the robot to complete it. The ultrasonic sensor allows the robot to see objects on the field through ultrasonic feedback. The sensor measures the distance to an object and allows the robot to act accordingly. You can program the robot to swerve and avoid objects, or approach them slowly when the ultrasonic sensor detects them. The light sensor allows the robot to see colors. It can tell the difference between many basic colors such as red, green, blue, white, and black. You can program the robot to move faster or slower when it detects or doesn't detect the color you specified. The gyroscope sensor allows the robot to know which direction it's going. You can use the sensor to be able to tell the robot to go a certain degree for a certain amount of time. Now, to make a program, you need to download the EV3 education software, where you will make the program that you will load onto the EV3 Brick that tells the robot what to do. To download the software, you need to go to tinyurl.com/LEGO Mindstorm Software EV3. This is the download for LEGO Mindstorm's Education EV3 software that lets you make EV3 programs. The software takes about 5 to 7 minutes to download. Once you open it, you should see a lobby page. To create a new EV3 project, go up to the top, and next to lobby, click the plus button. This should make a new blank project with 1 blank program inside of it. You can create more programs inside the same project by clicking the plus button next to the program name in the top bar. You can also see project properties by clicking the tool icon on the left side of the first program. You can see all open projects in the top bar in tabs like a web browser. Projects and programs can quickly get confusing, so let's take a minute to discuss the differences. A project has a .ev3 extension. You can change the name using the Save Project As option from the File menu. Programs are what make up a project file. Many programs can be written inside of each project file. You can change the name of a program by double-clicking on the Programs tab and typing in the name you want. Sometimes an asterisk may appear next to the project name. That simply means you have unsaved changes in the project. The software has 3 main parts inside a program: the programming canvas, the programming blocks tabs area, and the brick status area. You drag the programming blocks from the programming blocks tabs area to the programming canvas to make a program. The brick status area allows you to see what ports, motors, and sensors are attached to on your robot. In the top right, there are 10 icons. These can be very useful, so let's go through them. From left to right, icon 1 is used to list all the programs in the project. Icon 2 is used to turn the cursor into a select tool, and it can be used to pick specific blocks or areas of the screen. Icon 3 is used to pan the program blocks. It is used when the program goes beyond one screen. Icon 4 is used to create comment boxes in your program. Icon 5 is used to save your project. Icon 6 is used to undo a mistake, and icon 7 is used to redo an accidental deletion. Icon 8 is used to zoom out of your program blocks. Icon 9 is used to zoom into your program blocks, and icon 10 is used to reset the zoom on your program. Let's discuss the different colored tabs in the programming blocks area. The green tab is where the action blocks are stored. These are items like controlling the motors, displays, lights on the brick buttons, and sound. The orange tab is where the flow blocks are stored. Items like start, wait, loop, and switch can be found here. The yellow tab is where the sensor blocks are stored. Items like brick buttons, gyroscopes, lights, and ultrasonic can be found here. The red tab is where the data operations blocks are stored. Items like variables, arrays, logic, math, and compare can be found here. The blue tab is where the advanced blocks are stored. Items like data logging and unregulated motors can be found here. The red and blue tabs are typically much more advanced than the green, orange, and yellow tabs. Lastly, the light blue tabs where the custom blocks you create are stored. Now, let's go to project properties. This is where you can find all of the information about your project and the various programs it contains. Inside, you can see a list of all the programs that are contained inside your project. You can see their names and you can select whether you want to show them in the tabs in the programming area. You access project properties by clicking the tool icon that looks like a wrench in the left corner of the tabs of the programs. You can also do other things in project properties such as set a project name or a project description, and you can see more than just your programs that are inside your project. You can see images, sounds, blocks you have made, variables, and items that you can export outside your project. If you have an EV3 Brick, you can also connect it to your computer using Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or using the included USB cable. This allows you to do many things such as update the firmware of the brick, browse the files stored on the brick, and upload projects and programs remotely to the brick. The LEGO Mindstorm software also allows you to view which ports the motors and sensors are plugged into so that you can correctly reference them in your code. Now that we learned all about the EV3 Brick and LEGO Mindstorm software, let's make a program. We're going to make a simple program that lets the robot go straight. To add a block to the programming canvas, all you do is grab it from the programming blocks area and drag it until it connects to the piece with the green play button. The Go Straight block has 5 different controls in it. The first control is located in the green header of the block. It is one responsible for selecting the ports that the motors are located at. In this example, we're going to be using the 2 large motors I have set up as the drive motors. Those motors are located at ports B and C, so we're going to leave the port assignment as B plus C for now. The next control is the left motor power control. You can set the power of the drive motors anywhere between -100 and 100. If you set the power anywhere between 0 and 100, the motors will go forward. If you set the power anywhere between -100 and 0, the motors will go backwards. In this case, since the port selection says B plus C, the left motor is the B motor. By default, the block configures motor powers at 50, so we're going to leave it there for now. The next control is the right motor control. It has the same properties as left motor control. Since our port selection is B plus C, the right motor is the C motor. The next control is rotations control. This is responsible for how many rotations the motors will go before they stop. The distance is measured in rotations because first LEGO League motors have a rotating hub on them. This control is very important because without it, the robot wouldn't know when to stop moving on the field. The last control is the brake control. This tells the robot whether to actively brake, which means to try to stop, or just to drift when it reaches the last rotation. In conclusion, the EV3 Brick is the brain of the FLO robot. It has 6 buttons on the front that you use to control it. It has 4 motor ports on the top and 4 sensor ports on the bottom. There are 2 types of motors and 4 types of EV3 sensors. The EV3 Brick is programmed by using the LEGO Mindstorm desktop software. Programs are made inside projects, and there can be more than one program inside a project. You program the robot with code blocks. There are multiple different tabs with different code blocks in each. Project properties let you view all the different programs inside your project and lets you change the picture and description of your project. And lastly, you can view the ports that sensors and motors are connected to on your EV3 Brick in the Mindstorm software.